I invest close to 81-82% of my salary completely. Like the rest 19% is how I manage my life. 2 years back, I changed my thought process from salary to net worth. That I need to focus more on generating my own net worth and wealth versus thinking of how can I increase my salary all the time. Till 24, 25, I was very skill driven. I used to work 13, 14, 15 hours because I was happy to understand how businesses work.
Hi everyone. So today's guest is Vardhan Maurya, a Zomato operator and NIT Raipur graduate who has spent his last several years building at scale in startups and consumer tech, and who has built serious wealth in a short period through career leverage, concentrated investing, and relentless execution. So, what changed in you before the money changed?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe I'll just share a very short story that I personally think. So before jumping into Zomato, I was working with Urban Company, which is a big, like now more a unicorn startup in India. So when I used to work for 15, 16 hours a day, every day, I used to think, yeah, like even despite earning, like working 15, 16 hours a day, I'm just making excited amount of money. And at the same time, I used to see people in my same company who were like actually making money, but at the same time they also had a lot of ESOP. So what was happening as the company was growing, their wealth was also growing at the same time, and due to that, even if they were working 14, 16 hours, it did not make a lot of sense. Like it did not actually pinch them a lot, but it used to pinch me a lot because I was like, yeah, I'm spending XYZ amount of hours, but my pay scale is going to remain the same. So that's when I realized that the only way I can actually make wealth and get out of this rut is where I create my own wealth, where I ensure that if I'm making 100 rupees, that 100 rupees should make another 10 rupees, and that 110 should make some XYZ money, and it should keep that cycle should keep happening. I think that is what I realized. I think after when I turned 25, 26, that's when I realized that, yeah, I need to be very serious about my wealth. And wealth should be, I mean, to be honest, I changed the parameter of my whole life thinking. Yeah, I cannot be dependent on pay scale, paychecks and all. I need to be dependent on my own money, making me more money so that I can think stable throughout my life. I think that was my whole thought process of why I should start thinking investing very seriously. And that time I felt what is the easiest way or the most less friction way for me to earn additional money. That was like stock market only. Like I was like, okay, like I cannot do a part-time job with my full-time job. So I was like, what is the best other way I can do? This is what I felt was easier me to start, and I actually started with that journey altogether.
Nice. So, let's start from the beginning, right? What was your relationship with money while growing up?
Yeah, so I think I mean I come from an Indian middle class family. So I mean, the equation was very like not. I would not say it was very negative. It was also not very positive. It was very decent. It was more of that if I wanted something, I had to earn it before only to get that money. Okay, so I always used to hear this equation from my mom or dad that, oh, like, you know, if you're earning money, you need to save a lot of money. And, money is the most cruel thing in this world. Money does not grow on the tree. And so on. So all these dialogues and all I've been hearing since a child. I think the equation with money was decent. I would not say it was very negative or very positive, but I knew that this is needed in life to live a happy life. This was still my class, maybe 10th, 11th, 12th. This was still my like college days and education days. But later on, when I realized that, yeah, over the period of time, when I realized I saw a lot of family problems, all a lot of problems across my families, friends, and all. I realized, yeah, money is one thing that solves 95, 96% of your life problems. Rest 4, 5% is manageable. But if you don't have money, I think it will like really kill your whole purpose of life, or it will actually kill you completely because you'll always be under stress. I think that is what was my relation previously. And then that is what relation I changed post my corporate life when I realized that it is unsustainable for someone to keep working 14, 15 hours a day and then, live that life. Ki Monday to Friday, I work, Saturday, Sunday, relax and then Monday to Friday, it's happening. I was like, yeah, this does not work. And that's where my equation with money changed. Right now, I think I'm in a very positive with thinking about money that, yeah, like you need to have money, you need to respect money. I think respecting money is very important because unless you respect it, you won't even get it back.
Can you explain that a little bit? Like
So, for
in
example, while I was investing in this, I like created a good amount of corpus and all. So one of my cousin was like suddenly went through a very bad financial debt. So that is when I went to the village. So our grandmom passed away that point of time. So I went to the village to support see what's happening. That's when one of my cousin who was staying there and managing the household. So that's where I told him, dude, like right now you really don't need a lot of you obviously need a lot of condolences at the same time you also need to be very practical, and that's when I transferred him some good amount of money that you just take care of it, you just uh, manage all all a lot of things for whatever it is right now. So that time I did not expect anything in return. It was just a money that I was you know gave away without even thinking a second about it. Like that would be like someone's monthly salary at all, to be really frank. So I think that's the kind of freedom I could get. That's the kind of opportunity I help people. At the same time, when I started my career, one of my friend uh, left his job completely. And that time I had, I think, 1.5, 2 lakh saving. This is in 2018. So I gave away my whole 2 lakh rupees investment, 2 lakh rupees cash to him so that he can start his trading investment. So all these things I could, I was able to do because I really had money to actually support those people. And then right now I talk to everyone, most of them, I think we're in great relation. They also respect the fact that I could help them when they really, really needed it. Obviously, I could have just invested that money, that would have gone to some excited amount of money. But I think that point of time when they really needed money and I had that money to, help them, I think that's very important for me, to be frank.
Yeah, I think that's true, right? Like if you have money, only then you will be able to help somebody. Like I think at least within family, friends, I think you should have that mentality that, if somebody is in need and if I have the money, then why not just go ahead and help them. If you're finding this useful and you want to learn how real people actually build financial freedom, I share conversations like this every week. So please hit subscribe. It really helps me bring more guests like this. So, did you always want to build wealth or did that ambition came later?
No, so I always wanted to like open a business of my own or start something of my own. But eventually I was like, okay, let me take step by step. So when I turned 25, 26, when I started taking my finances very, very seriously, I was like, yeah, I need to, if for example, something happens, okay, let's very take simple example, right? With the pace at which AI is moving, with the pace at which Claude is releasing their own tools every other day, I won't be surprised if all the jobs, all the good business jobs, software development jobs would be cut down by 70-80% in the coming next 1.5, 2 years. Now, in that scenario, it is not like that, uh, oh, something bad has happened to me or something like that. Now, in these scenarios, there are only two ways. Either I get really, really just super good, super hard worker, and I use AI and work my job day and night, or I become very smart. The smarter way is care, okay, let me just invest in a lot of AI stocks. Anyway, everyone's going to use AI. So let me just invest in those stocks. And eventually, if everyone is going to use it, that stocks are only going to go up. So I think that is where I started making relations care. Okay, uh, the objective was here to create wealth so that I don't have to be stressful about a lot of situations. Like when you are in private sector, like when you are working as an employee, how much ever great or the craziest employee, you are just a Excel row. You can be deleted any time of the day, any point of the life, irrespective of how much ever loyal you are to the company. And that is not because the company hates you. It is like if the situation turns bad and they're like, oh, I want to cut my wage bill and you are in the highest wage bill, I'm so sorry, I'll have to let you go.
You've seen that happening with so many companies now, at least in the US,
Mhm.
almost like a lot of companies in the last 2 years have laid off so many people. Could be due to AI, could be due to a lot of hiring they did during COVID and things like that. But I think still so many people lost their jobs and now so many of them are in the market and it's a really bad situation here at least.
Yeah. I think just a stat. I just was listening to some podcast 2 days back. So the top five Indian companies, the top five IT companies, have hired a net of 17 people in the last 1.5 year. Net of 17 people, including people they hired, and everything is just 17. Like okay, like that's. So I
Yeah,
think yeah,
seven. I mean, it is nothing, right? They used to hire 17 people from each classroom, maybe.
yeah. So that's, I think that is where I thought, yeah, I need. So this is what I was talking, right? Building wealth, not to obviously like a lot of people think that building wealth is, oh, I'll go and buy a G wagon.
Mm.
When you have a lot of wealth, you can definitely buy it. But I think the larger objective is when you have wealth, you can be very peaceful about turbulence times. Like for example, sometimes I really get stressed about not stressed. I really think about okay, like the pace at which AI is moving, it would take a majority of part of my job. My job would just to be a AI generalist, manage things, and but at the same time also know that if AI goes 100% scale and like touch wood, if I lose my job, I don't have to worry so much because I've already built wealth. Even if I don't do anything, I can have a more than basic amount of income that is coming to me, through which I can like live my life without thinking so much about it. And I have a lot of space to explore things. Okay, like for the next 7 8 months, I can explore different fields and not worry about basic needs at all. I think that is what the definition of wealth is according to me, and I think everyone should see it in that way, that yeah, how much freedom and peace it buys for you and not the
So
amount of
did
material.
this perspective change recently, or was it always like this?
I think initially when I started building my corpus, the idea was to build more and more corpus. But once I reached 1 crore in Indian rupees, which is close to I think 85, 86K, $86,000 and all, is when I realized that, yeah, I think when I have, and this I'm just talking about US market corpus. I think so. I was like, when I had this, I was just thinking, if like if something happens, I still have this much amount of cash, even if I put into like fixed deposit or I just leave it with even a CAGR of 12, 13% that I can take. I'll still have a good amount of money coming into my bank every year without even thinking so much. So I think that perspective changed when I started seeing that amount of money flowing into it. That when I had that like a CR corpus in my US markets, that's when I realized, okay, like I think this is a good place.
Nice. So let's go back to your career and your engineering days. Like so I know you studied engineering at NIT Raipur. So when you were in college, were you already thinking like an operator and a builder? Because I know your role in Zomato has been just doing that, right? So or were you still figuring out stuff of where I should go
So
in
I
college?
think when I was in college, I mean, I just went to college with a very open mind thing. Just because I got a rank and a free government seat, so my dad was like,
Mm.
"Just go have some fun." Just went there. I tried to explore things. I initially wanted to get into government exams because why not? Like that's what everyone thinks. So, but over the period of time, I explored different things. I started reaching out to a lot of startups, started speaking to them. That's when I realized what startup culture is, what finances are, what how people are making money and all. So, used to what made me change a lot of thinking during my college days is I used to meet a lot of entrepreneurs who were not from a great pedigree, but they were making a lot of money. And then I used to compare that. Okay, like I studied from NIT. A lot of people study from IT. Even despite passing out of their college, they just make maybe 12, 13, 14 lakhs rupees a year. This guy is not even from any college, but he's making so much of money just using his smart street intelligence, right? So I think that is where I started interacting with more with them. Then I understood, okay, like this is not how real world works. Real world works with where people are actually solving problems. I think that is where my passion towards entrepreneurship and business started increasing a lot. So how things work, how XYZ works. Post that, then I was like, okay, now I've built a skill. And I really did not wanted to be a guy who has good degrees, good batches, but he was like blank from inside. Like a lot of times you have wealth, but that wealth is of no use. So for me it was similar. Like I had good degree, I had good companies on my resume, but they were not paying me enough. Then I was like, I'll have to solve this out by myself, and that's when I took all my finances in my hand.
Yeah, I think that taking control of your finances is something the earlier you start, the better it is. Because otherwise you won't even know where that money is going. And then it's like at the end, maybe after 5, 10 years, you'll be like, "Oh, I didn't know what I was doing all these years."
True. I mean, I'll be very frank, just to give some stats. I know some of my people who have studied from great, like IIM colleges. And if I compare our similar ages, right, they're right now sitting at minus 30, minus 40 lakh debt. Like their overall net worth is like, I'm not trying to compare what I'm saying, but because
Hmm.
they came and discussed with me, ki, bro, like, how did you do this? How did you go with this journey? We also want to learn because right now our current net worth is minus 20, minus 30 and all. I think what you mentioned, I think the biggest change that I could right now think is like 2 years back, I changed my thought process from salary to net worth. That I need
Mm.
to focus more on generating my own net worth and wealth versus thinking of how can I increase my salary all the time. So I think that thought process change itself made me started to think everything in a very different direction altogether. Like, I mean, I cannot just create wealth by, working 100 hours a week. I invest close to 81, 82% of my salary completely. Like, the rest 19% is how I manage my life. I mean, because I'm not married yet, once I get married, I think that will come down to 30, 40%. But yeah, still, I think that is also a lot of percentage of investment. Like, out of 100 rupees, if someone is investing 50, 60, I think that's also a great number. I think, according to all the financial people on the YouTube that I've heard, they say at least invest 20, 30, but I think that's still double of it.
Yeah, completely. I mean, 80% is it's unheard of, right? I listen to so many podcasts and things like that, but like I've not seen anyone having 80% savings rate. I think that's really amazing.
Yeah, I think that's, again, I'm saying, right, that it also depends on the base amount that you get. Like, if the base
Mm,
amount is higher, then 10% of that base amount is also a lot. But I was very clear that for some period of years, I'm okay compromising on all the
mm,
lavish expenses. So I'm very
mm.
clear, okay, like, uh, what are the expenses I want to do, what are the expenses I don't want to do, and you largely used to invest on those things. I mean, like this, I usually do this funda that if I get my money, the first thing I do is invest first, and then only whatever money is left after that is what I think, okay, like I'll spend it. I think the only lavish expense I have done till date is only two lavish expenses. One is buying a watch because I thought ki, like, you should have one good watch. That costed me like 65, 66,000. And then one to like just Air Jordan.
He's just curious, which watch do you have?
I have a Tissot watch, T-Race.
Nice, nice.
So that is, I bought it because I thought ki I should, like, earn some, like, sell some profits and buy something so that I remember that, okay, this is something I bought by myself from this month.
No, I think that is also really important, right? Like the things that you like, you should spend on those is what my philosophy is. Obviously, it's not like I can tell you I like 10 things, so go and buy 10 things.
Yeah, yeah, then
But one or two things that you like, you should definitely go and buy, right? Otherwise, what is the point of earning so much money when you're not able to do things that you like?
I think there's one really good line. I don't know. I think Charlie Munger or Warren Buffett said. I exactly don't remember. So I think someone asked them, ki, when is the right time to sell any stock? And that
Hmm.
person says that, ki, when you really need that money.
Right.
Like, so right now I know for a fact that there's some situation that has come to me, and then I have to like pay, like I have to give 15, 20 lakhs. So right now I'm in
Hmm.
a good financial stage. Even if I just give that 15, 20 lakh, it's not going to impact my portfolio a lot.
Right.
So I think that's where I think wealth actually helps. Like, again, the peace and trust kind of things.
Nice. Okay. So your story from 12 lakhs to 1 crore in 3 years is really inspiring. Like it's there out there in the public also. So when people hear that, they must be thinking, okay, there must be one big trick that Harsh is doing, right? But what's the real story behind it?
I think Peter Lynch only said, like, just try to understand stocks around you that you use every day and just see if they make sense to invest. So I just sat and I was just thinking, okay, if I want to invest money, what are the products I used? I use Nike, I use Apple, Starbucks, Netflix, Amazon, Google, and then I was like, okay, like, and then I was like, okay, like, so these are the things that I use every day.
These are all not Indian companies.
And then I was like, shit, man, these are not Indian companies. And then I also started questioning why am I not using Indian companies? And then I saw a lot of Indian things. So largely Indian things that I use were mostly the daily use things like
Hmm.
shampoos, soaps, etc.
Right.
Things that you need every day that I'm using. Things I things like laptop, phone, and XY, I were all foreign companies and all. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's just do a thing. If I know for a fact that Amazon is a great company, I use Google. And that time I thought process was very like kid. I think that's the best part of this investment story starting. I was like, okay, dude, I know Google I'm using, my friend is using, my 10 friends are using. Everyone's going to still use Google like for 3, 4 years down the line. Everyone's going to use Google Maps, everyone's using YouTube. I was like, okay, I think it's a great deal, let's buy it. Then I was like, yeah, WhatsApp, Instagram, who uses Instagram, WhatsApp? They are all like, bought by Meta. And there was one like very good series that I actually read about how the US economy and how the US entrepreneurship mindset works. So I was like, yeah, Meta bought Facebook, Meta bought Instagram, Meta bought WhatsApp. So they are the only one person who own the overall. They understand human psychology very well than anyone else in this world currently. Any company,
Yeah,
like every company
exactly.
tried to replicate. I think Google also tried to replicate Facebook, and no one could compete. So I was like, okay, in that thought process, I was like, they are great in terms of human psychology. So I bought a Facebook and so on and so on. Nvidia, because I had this Windows laptop where Nvidia sticker was there. I was like, everyone uses Nvidia, everyone uses Microsoft. I just buy it. The great, and now this is where luck also plays the part. Right,
Mm,
2022 was the biggest crash. Like that time, all stocks were super duper crash across. All stocks were. I remember buying Meta at $99, Nvidia at like
mm.
20, 25, $30. Like all stocks like
Really?
totally.
25, $30?
Like yeah, yeah. So I mean, right now it is like what at $178 and all. So
Yeah,
before it went 10x rally, right? So before 10x rally, I'm talking about. So that time
nice.
2025 and also I bought a lot of stocks. I don't think so much. I just had some five
Mm,
six lakhs. I just bought a lot of random stocks, and for 2 3 weeks nothing happened. 2 3 months nothing happened, and then suddenly uh some rate change happened and the whole stock went up. And I was like, dude, like what? Like sub by $500. I was like, okay, this sounds like a great plan. Like, I mean, like earning 40,000 in Indian markets would have taken me like 3 4 5 6 months. And here I was like, okay, this one day change. And then gradually the boom started, the AI boom, like
mm.
started, the chat GPT movement happened and the Microsoft offer. That's when all these things started booming and all. So then when I started researching, okay, why are the stocks going up? Why is like, Nvidia going up? Why is Meta going up and all? That's when I started reading a lot about it. There was this graph. I made this graph that the AI is going to be the biggest increment of productivity per person versus any other industrial changes that have
Right.
happened till date. You take it industrial change, you take it the internet boom, the dot com boom, everything. This is going to be the biggest, and that graph said a very nice thing. Well, like, it said that the biggest wealth creators for people have been for people who have invested early in the biggest possible changes that is happening. And right now, AI is a thing that is going to increase on average 50% productivity of everyone. I was like, okay, it sounds like a great plan. And I read keep people will make a lot of money in the initial of the decades of someone who's part of the technology. That's when I was like, okay, awesome. This sounds like a great plan.
So how do you invest into US stocks from India?
So there
Just
is
curious.
this IND Money app. There is Vested app. So these are two apps that usually use. So what happens is if I so till 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs, there is no cost. There is no TDS that happens. Post 10 lakhs, there's a 20% deduction directly. So after 10 lakhs, you put like 2 lakhs. So 2 lakhs, 20% of 2 lakhs, 40,000 would already be deducted. And then the rest 1 lakh 60,000 is something you can invest in the US market. So I used to invest a lot and it used to be paying me so much. Like I used to pay 20%, 20% all the time.
Yeah, 20% is a lot, right? And then after that, you'll have to again pay for taxes on the gains as well.
Yeah. So, but it will I mean, sum it up from there only. So that 20%
So it'll
of your
offset
tax
from there.
already paid, it will offset from there only.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I
Then that's fine.
yeah. So I think that's where I got the whole concept of investing.
So what is your corpus right now?
So right now, if I include all the liquid, just the liquid thing, I think it would be around 1.35 something.
Okay. And then what is the asset allocation looking like between India, US stocks, and then you said you
Yeah,
have some
so US stocks,
mutual funds and
huh,
gold and as well.
US would be close to 70. 30% is Indian. Rest is mix of gold and cryptocurrencies. Cryptos are right now like this. Earlier they used to contribute to 4 5% of my portfolio, but because they have fallen down a lot in terms of actually a lot. So right now that's the allocation. And largely my profits, if I talk in terms of profits and all, out of 100 rupees chunk, like 85 rupees would be coming from US market.
Nice. So like this split between US and India, right? Is that about like opportunity, liquidity, quality of businesses, or it's just that you just know US stocks better?
No,
Like why so much into
so
US?
basically what I did is I thought in a very different way. I just thought, yeah, I would want to invest in companies that I am very confident that will grow. And
Hmm.
I wanted to invest in the whole ecosystem. right? For example, not ecosystem exactly, but maybe the whole supply chain. For example, the way I used to think is, for example, if I'm typing some prompt on ChatGPT, so I try to used to study or predict, okay, what are the 100 companies involved in this equation, right? For example, okay, like if I'm typing, it is, there is some vector scaling happening. There is
Right.
some computation that is going to break it into different cohorts and then try to read it. There are GPUs that are supporting to it. There is some power energy to it. If there's some power happening, who is supplying that power to them? If someone is
Mm,
making the GPU, who are the backbones of those GPUs? If that GPU is being made by some backbone, where are they getting their material from? And so from step one, I used to go complete backward, try to understand all the industries that are part of it, and then just used to handpick the top companies of all the supply chain, and then I invested money on those there. And then Palantir was a very Palantir was a different bet altogether that I took, because I think I was reading about it. I realized, okay, this is that one company. So this was a question that I asked to myself, that okay, for example, I say that okay, I have AI, I'll help you, you know, integrate in your company. So when I was reading Palantir's, what they kind of do is, like, with their system is, they say that okay, you are a industry, you're a, like, maybe you're a coal mining industry, and it comes
right.
says that, hey, you know what, you're a coal mining industry. I have systems that I'll help you make everything AI driven for you. For that, you need to pay me money. So that time I realized, only I don't think any other company is doing this at this larger scale, and only
Mm,
Palantir was doing that. So that's where I thought, okay, Palantir same makes a good deal to me. Then that's when I bought Palantir. And then I realized, if there's so much of data happening, people are going to attack, misuse it. That's where your CrowdStrike, Palo Alto, Zscaler, all kind of companies come. And so on, like Micron, ASML. ASML, I bought it at $700 thinking that, okay, even if it grows by 10% CAGR, I'm very happy. Like, it has
mm,
doubled since I've invested. Like, no one I would have thought a $700 stock went to like 1400, 1450. So I think that was my
right.
whole thought. Ki, okay, I can understand the AI industry completely. And I wanted to invested in the whole supply chain. So that is where I did it, and that's why my most. So to be really frank, I think I invested some 60, 50, 60K dollars, $1,000 into the US market, and a point like 3 4 months back, it was up by 85 86%. Right now, it is somewhere around 65 66%, but I am pretty sure this will go back to the normal numbers over the period of time. So it is just, I invested whatever principal amount I invested, I could see a larger amount of returns and predictable returns in the US markets, because they are the ones who were leading the whole AI technology across the world. Like, if I had option to invest in the China companies, I would have done it. But largely, I think because I could see that dominance of tech only in US, that
In US.
invested majority of it. Now, eventually, now I'm changing my strategy. I'm putting more into gold. Like, previous to like US markets, I just used to invest in gold, but like buying like physical gold and all. Or I used to just give my money to my mom, and she used to invest that in real estate.
So
So
what do gold and crypto, what role do they play for you?
yeah, so I just wanted to have better diversification. So because I just felt that my equity overall is 80 85% of the portfolio. 10% would be mutual funds and all, SIPs and all. SIPs and mutual funds, I more see of them like uh like, what should I say? They're just like bank balance. Whenever you want, you can like figure out and remove it for yourself. And but Bitcoin, I personally, people would start having more adoption because they want more independence out of systems and all. And gold, because I'm a South Indian, and like DNA mein hota hai to buy gold.
Right. You're
So I
still
think,
from Hyderabad, so
yeah. So my mom was very clear, you should have gold. You need to have physical gold, because in times of recession, all people want to have physical gold that still have a lot of value. Like, your stocks might fell a lot, but gold at this point of time keeps rising. It's very hard to say that, oh, the demand of gold is ever going to go down.
yeah, in the last 2 years, norms have been proved right so much, right?
Yeah. Recently, the gold rally, the silver rally, like, I mean, earlier in Hyderabad, what used to happen, like, for every marriage or every small event, people used to give silver spoons, silver cups, and all.
Right.
My mom is like, I don't think silver we should give. It's pretty expensive.
Nice.
I'll have
Okay.
some
So I
amount
think you're
of silver also. Like I have not just added into it. I think I also have some 100, 200 grams also.
nice. So your investing style is very unique, right? Like I've not seen like this anywhere. So like what kind of investor should not copy your style, you think?
Yeah. So honestly, I'll be very frank. I think in this thing, I think what I did is I think one of the biggest thing that helped me is reading a lot of different investor styles and all. And I think
Mm,
it's very difficult to copy someone's style. Maybe, for example, I have my own insecurities, I have my own financial levels, I have my own income, and I have
mm,
my own emotions. Now,
right.
my level of emotions, everything is going to be unique versus yours. And my risk appetite, my way of thinking would be very different than yours. So, what I realized is, yeah, let me think very practically. Like, do I want to make money like in next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or I'm okay with the slow game, gaining a lot of money over the period of time? Because I think a lot of time people don't realize that key peace of mind is also a very big part of your equation.
Okay. So I know you said that you're not financially free yet, right? And I actually think that makes your perspective more useful. Right. So, but like, how do you bridge the gap between I've built solid wealth and I'm actually free now?
Hmm. I think right now I just still feel there's a lot of place to go because I think right now maybe because I'm a bachelor right now. So I
Mm,
just think yeah, the amount of money that I've built my wealth is enough for me. But I think when it comes to my family and all, so I think the way I've thought about my fire number or this, like if today my basic expenses are 50,000, if I'm a married person, that expenses would be close to a lakh rupees. And over the period of time, that 1 lakh will go to 2.5, 3 lakhs in a couple of 7, 8, 10 years. If I want 2.5 lakh rupees a month, right? So I need to earn close to 36, 37 lakhs for passive income. But now if I think that okay, like I also want to, go for a travel trip, I also want to do social service, I also want to do blah blah blah. Then I think that
mm,
number goes to 4.5, 5 lakhs, 6 rupees, or like to be the honest, ideal state that I think would be 10 lakhs a month or something like that, which is
okay.
close to what takes you to somewhere around uh 15, 20 crores on average.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
was like, okay, so there's a lot of gap. There's a lot of
Mm,
space to be filled. There's a lot of things need to be done. But obviously, the amount that we have made currently also helps with basic needs. But I don't think people are working hard just to live for basic needs, just to eat and sleep. They are living. They
mm,
want to earn money so that they can live a great life, do things that they really want. So I think that is where I personally think, and also I'm changing a whole lot of strategy of how I also
mm,
think of investing. So right now there is only way in which you can increase your investments. Either your investments do really perform well, or you pump a
right.
lot of money and then that gradually increases over the period of time. So now I've started with the strategy to okay, let me
Mm,
figure out how I can increase my income overall
income.
so that my wealth still keeps growing and my income also is growing so that I can keep increasing my income that side overall.
Nice. So do you have a fire number in mind, or do you want to achieve fire first of all, like, or do you want to?
Yeah,
I know that that's something like everyone wants to do, right? But do you want to do it first, and then if yes, then what does that number look like for you, right?
yeah. So honestly, obviously, I want to reach the fire number. The I think for me, fire is more about the freedom than reaching the number and all.
Mm,
So currently, I think with current scenario, with all the marriage and stuff and all, I think that should be somewhere around 20 cr in Indian rupees to reach that fire number. Because I think at 20 cr, you can live a good, decent life without thinking much about it. Good, decent life with a lot of luxuries and all as well. With current, then it's just like you're living again basic needs and all. I don't think that's something
mm,
I'm looking at. एंड अभी तो है यार मतलब एज वेज है तो कर सकते हैं.
ah, true. Okay. So for someone in their 20s who's like in ambitious, earning and trying to build well, like what should they focus on first? Career growth, investing, lifestyle control. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the first and foremost thing I would suggest anyone whoever is going to
Mm,
start the like financial thing is you need to be disciplined about your finances. I think the biggest thing is the discipline about that irrespective of wherever you earn money from. Like that has become a
mm,
mindset. That even if I earn 100 rupees, like apart from
right.
like my job, there are also a couple of other things that I do where I earn money from. Everywhere I earn 100 rupees, I'm like very used to that. Okay, 50, 60 rupees has to go into investment. That's like my first thought.
Mm,
Then and only I go into the expense part. So I think the biggest thing for everyone whoever is going to watch this podcast is you need to be very, you need to have that financial discipline that whatever money
mm,
you earn, some percentage has to go into investing. Because if that mindset don't does not come, irrespective of how much ever money you earn, you make 1 CR, 2 CR, 3 CR, and you are saying, oh, when I make 3 CR, I'll invest 1, 2 crores. It's never going to happen. Like, I think that financial discipline that, okay, I'll start, even if you are earning 20,000, you can still invest 2,000 rupees. And it's like someone would say that 2,000 rupees does not matter. But the point is like, you'll get into that discipline. One day it will be 2,000. For maybe 6 months, it will be 2,000. Then you'll gradually increase it to 5,000, then gradually 10,000. And once you get into that loop, it's very hard to break it. Like, I mean, there would be no way you will say you'll be sleeping on road, but you won't spend
mm,
out money from your investment and say that okay, I'm going to spend this and all. I think that is very important. Rest everything people can figure out, but that discipline that for every income that I earn 20, 30, 40 rupees has to go into investment.
nice. All right. I think this was such an interesting conversation, Harsh. Thank you so much for doing this. I think a lot of people have learned a lot of things from your style of investing, your career growth, and all the other things that you have said. So yeah, just thank you so much for doing this.
My pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
If you found this conversation useful, you'll definitely enjoy the next one I've linked here. And if you want more real conversations like this, make sure you subscribe. I'm bringing one of these every week.